We are back with you live once again here on the only way to spend your Saturday, here with us on another Johnny Torch Live broadcast, number 153. And today we are bringing you our Torch News Roundup number 134. Yep, we haven't done a Torch News Roundup in a while, and despite the fact that I'm very busy and very tired, I still maintain that I will not disappoint my fans again another week with missing another Torch News Roundup. We haven't done one for about 2 weeks, I think. I have still been making videos, of course. You need to check out the latest video, which is the Cobra Kai Season 2 review I did. A lot of fun. I really enjoyed that show a lot, and I'm starting my second viewing of it, of the second season. So it's a spoiler review, but if you've seen the season in its entirety, check it out because, man, that was a lot of fun, that show. And, of course, the week before, we did the Avengers Endgame spoiler review, which apparently no one saw. I think everybody's Avengers Endgamed out at this point. Are they? Maybe? I don't know. But, of course, I had a little bit of a cold. Again, apologies in advance if you hear any coughing or if I have to mute the mic for a sneeze or something. Also, last week I was at PillCon, the third annual PillCon, and again, enjoyed it a lot. Very appreciative to Mo and Aubrey who run the PillCon event. And it was nice to see, like I said before, I look forward to seeing a lot of familiar faces, and there were quite a few there that I recognized. So that was a lot of fun, and if you did make it to that, I hope you enjoyed it. We've got another new addition to the Johnny Torch Coffee is for Closers New England Comic-Con tour for 2019. I got the green light pretty late in the game, but I got the green light for the Kids Con, which I am going to be returning to for the second time in a row, and I'm really excited about this. I'm happy about this because I loved Kids Con last year. It was a lot of fun. I love family events. I love being able to, interact with the kids. A lot of kids there, of course, obviously, and I like trying to inspire the kids. Man, I like to see kids wanting to do comics. Letting that be their passion and showing them that, hey, if I can do it, anybody can do it. You know what I mean? If I'm a self-publisher, and it's not always an easy job. I mean, I do it all myself practically, pretty much one-man operation. If you have the passion, you can do it. And, I love imparting that message to the kids, as well as I get a lot of older folks, too, who are like, that's the great thing about comics is you can get into it at any age. I mean, Stan Lee really didn't start writing comics in earnest till he was about 40. That's the start of the Marvel era. And many of the great artists, including Kirby, didn't really start doing their best stuff until they were in their 40s. So really, it's a it's an endeavor that you can take on at any age. But let's see, we will be at the Radisson Hotel May 19th. That is a week from tomorrow. And you can check the link in the description below for my website, Bullets Bourbon Comics, for a full address and rundown there. But it will be Sunday, May 19th from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. I just learned I'm going to have to get there pretty early. I think they're having an early bird show at around 9:30, which means instead of me showing up at 9, I got to get there like probably 9:15, something like that. I guess so if you're allowed to get in early for the early bird show, I'll be there too. But trying very hard to debut Bullets Bourbon issue number 6. I wasn't able to debut it at PillCon, although we did debut issue 5. But issue 6 is at the printer right now, even as we speak. And I'm pretty sure I'll have it in time. I'm pretty sure, it's going to be printed in time. Whether I get the shipment in time is more up to the U.S. Postal Service. But yeah, be sure to check it out. 1 week from tomorrow, Sunday, May 19th, I am triumphantly returning to KidsCon New England. That is in Nashua, New Hampshire. So again, part of our New England Comic-Con tour. And if you can't attend that one. I still have a ironclad date for Granite State Comic Con in Manchester for September 14th and 15th. Still going to try for a couple more. I have a few other things in the works, a couple other irons in the fire that hopefully I can pass on to you before it gets too close to the event. But yeah, the Coffee is for Closers New England Comic Con Johnny Torch Live tour. So we're going to try to do a broadcast next Saturday. I think we can do it. And stop on by in Nashua, New Hampshire, if you're in the area at the Radisson Hotel. And I'd love to meet you. And hopefully you can take a look and peruse some of my wares. I still got some great goodies there to give away as well for any paying customers, as they say. Also want to mention tomorrow is Mother's Day, so happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there in the audience or whoever will be a mother. And I'm fortunate to be able to spend the day with my mother tomorrow for Mother's Day. And, you know, my sister is going to be a mother next month. So it's going to be a really fun and enjoyable time at the Torch household, and hopefully it will be as well for you and yours. Let's see. All right, let's take a look at some of the topics we're going to discuss. Oh, and also, of course, before we get started, make sure you hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, smash it for me, will you please? Because we want to get to 100 subscribers, and we are at 89 right now. So please hit that smash, hit and smash the subscribe button because we want to get to 100. And also, as well, you will want to check out the link in the description below, not only for my comic book, The Adventures of Bullets, Bourbon, Private Eye, but we also have a link to my Twitter page where you can catch up on all the latest, all the fun and activities that I get up to will probably be posted there before YouTube. Again, I'm going to try to focus more on YouTube and get more shows done. And hopefully, you know, one of my passions is doing the short form video. If you look in my popular videos, there's a lot of short reviews that I did a couple of years ago. Once Windows Movie Maker Live went down, it was pretty much impossible for me to find at least a free movie maker that I could use that would be satisfying. And I focus more on my comic, and so I really don't want to like look backwards now and try to get too much into the, you know, the recorded videos because they take a long time editing, and because they're, you know, recorded, I spend more time trying to get them right. You know what I mean? You know, here when we're doing a live stream, if I mess up as I did a moment ago, you know, it's live and you just have to keep going. Like it's like live radio. And it's a little bit easier in that way. And to take that time away from me doing the books, I really don't want to take that time away. So I haven't actively tried to do any recorded videos in the past, I don't know, 3-4 months. I tried again the end of last year. I know I'm going off on a rabbit trail here or whatever, but you know, hopefully I can get some of that going. But we are working on our graphic novel right now. We're going to take the last 3 issues of Bullets Bourbon and put them in a collection. Hopefully by the end of the summer, this project will be done because I'm eager to get to work on issue 7. So I can't have this take up my time too much. I put aside a month to get this done, 6 weeks tops. And it's already been about a week and a half. So, you know, hopefully we'll get there. And I'm seriously considering an Indiegogo. So again, I'll put that information in the stream whenever it becomes. But again, I've got so much to do. I haven't been able to focus on the Indiegogo preparations or anything because I'm still working on the book, getting things done. So patience is a virtue, as they say. All right, so our first, we haven't done a video in a couple of weeks. So the first thing I want to do is we want to pay tribute to the great Peter Mayhew, who unfortunately passed on a couple of weeks ago, I guess now. The famous actor who portrayed Chewbacca the Wookiee from A New Hope in 1977 all the way down to, I believe, The Force Awakens. He did about half of the performance before Jonas, let me see his name here. Jeez, I wasn't ready with the actor's name. Here it is, Jonas Sutamo, I believe that's how you pronounce it, who kind of took over for him in some scenes, some of the more taxing scenes of Force Awakens, and then completely took over for The Last Jedi. I'm not sure exactly what he passed on from because they didn't make that public information, but I know that he was in frail health for several years. Um, he was confined to a wheelchair for a time. I remember that. I, as everyone, I mean, he seemed like a real gentle giant. I never really got to meet the man, but I really loved him. He was a great presence as Chewbacca that you really couldn't capture with another actor. I remember there was a story of Irvin Kershner, who of course directed The Empire Strikes Back, who said that they tried to put a double in the Chewbacca costume at a certain point because, I don't know, Peter was injured or ill at the time for a couple of weeks. And they had to throw away all the footage because no one moved like Peter. Nobody could embody the Wookiee quite the way Peter could, even in distance shots. But of course, you had the trademark blue eyes and just the mannerisms of Chewbacca that Mayhew alone instilled in the character. And also, to be sure, he did the dialogue of Chewbacca. He didn't just growl as we see in the movies. Of course, that was a special effect that was, added in post, but he had actual dialogue. You should check out some of the scenes. I know there was one in the From Empire to Jedi documentary where we see from A New Hope some of the dialogue that Peter was saying that was later dubbed over with Wookieese. And I seen another one on Twitter, which was from Empire Strikes Back, with where he's fixing the Falcon, and Han comes in from patrol. I would love to see a whole a whole movie where you got to see Peter actually giving lines, and that would really be a lot of fun. All right, I pulled up an obituary here. We'll try to read a little bit of it. Let's see. Peter Mayhew, who played Chewbacca in the original Star Wars franchise, passed on at the age of 74 on April the 30th. This says 30th of April, so it's probably a, English paper or something. I don't know. In his North Texas home, surrounded by his family, the statement on Twitter said he is survived by his wife, Angie, and their 3 children. Let's see. Okay. Okay. His family wrote that he fought his way back from being wheelchair bound to stand tall and portray Chewbacca once more in The Force Awakens. He put his heart and soul into the role. The relationships that began to grow into the friends and family he would love for decades to come. The family will hold a funeral on 29th of June, and in early December 2019, there will be a memorial for fans of Chewbacca in Los Angeles at the fan event Empire Con LA. Family suggests fans and loved ones donate to Mayhew's foundation in lieu of flowers or gifts. Mark Hamill, who played Luke Skywalker in the Star Wars saga, paid tribute to Mayhew on Twitter, saying he was the gentlest of giants, a big man with an even bigger heart who never failed to make me smile. I'm a better man for just having known him, Hamill said. Fellow actor Harrison Ford, who played Han Solo, said in a statement, Peter Mayhew was a kind and gentle man. We were partners in film and friends in life for over 30 years, and I loved him. He invested his soul in the character and brought great pleasure to the Star Wars audience, adding, I and millions of others will never forget Peter and what he gave us all. My thoughts are with his dear wife Angie and his children. Rest easy, my dear friend. So yeah, for those of you who don't know, of course, some of the history, Mayhew was a minor actor working shifts as a hospital orderly when he was cast as Chewbacca the Wookiee in the first Star Wars film, 1977's A New Hope. 7'3" actor was cast partially because he was taller than the 6'6" actor David Prowse, who played Darth Vader. So of course, yeah, you have to remember I think he went in. They were looking at Peter for both roles, whether he would play Chewbacca or Vader, and I think it was they wanted someone taller for Chewbacca because him being an alien. Of course, Anakin would turn out to be Vader, so he was obviously chosen for Chewbacca. But 7'3" was the perfect height to play Chewbacca. As a fan favorite, he went on to play the character in '80's The Empire Strikes Back, '83's Return of the Jedi, as well as two of the new generation films of the Star Wars saga, 2005's Revenge of the Sith and 2015's The Force Awakens. So yeah, you got to remember, Revenge of the Sith is when he really came back. He really looked great in Revenge of the Sith, and it was a welcome return to see Chewie, because at that point we thought that was the last film, and Lucas was sort of, throwing us a bone, saying, let's get Mayhew back in the role as Chewbacca. Mayhew's role was predominantly physical. The distinctive groans of the character were made by sound designer Ben Burt, yet despite heavy makeup and costume, Mayhew managed to bring an expressive subtlety to the character that resonated with audiences. Mayhew's family said on Thursday that his dedication to the role showed in every frame of the films, from his knock-kneed running, firing his bowcaster from the hip, his bright blue eyes, down to each subtle movement of his head and mouth. Mayhew's health had declined in recent years, culminating in spinal surgery last July. Basketball player Jonas Sumatu, who is 6'11", not quite as tall as Peter Mayhew, took over the role of Chewbacca in more recent Star Wars episodes, sharing the role with Mayhew in The Force Awakens, taking over for The Last Jedi, with Mayhew acting as consultant. Solo: A Star Wars Story, and in Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker, currently in post-production. Fellow actors and public figures paid tribute to Mayhew on social media. William Shatner, who played Captain Kirk, expressed his condolences on Twitter, remembering the times he saw the actor at conventions over the years. So yeah, it goes on, and it's quite sad that it seems we're losing. We never really lose them, of course, but the Star Wars actors seem to be passing uh, in recent years. Of course, Carrie Fisher already passing a couple of years ago. We had Kenny Baker before that. So it is quite sad when we have to confront the reality of, time, and that some of these great actors and performers that we grew up with are, passing on to the next life. But so once again, Peter Mayhew, rest in peace, my friend. You made a difference in my life. You made my childhood that much more enjoyable with Chewbacca the Wookiee. Who didn't love Chewbacca as a kid? And much love and appreciation, Peter, for your work and your dedication to the fans. He showed up at conventions regularly. As I said, I feel badly now that I was never able to attend one that he was in, but much love to Peter and to Angie and his family for the times that they're going through now. And may the force be with you, Peter, always. So let us move on now. A somewhat somber note, but let's take a look now at the Spider-Man Far From Home trailer. Was released a couple of days ago, and that's probably a good place to start. I got a couple of screenshots here, as per the usual, and the trailer starts with a kind of unique situation where we have Tom Holland pretty much telling us spoiler warning. Tom Holland telling anybody spoiler warning is pretty funny in and of itself. The joke is, of course, he's notorious for not knowing if he's spoiling things and spoiling things by accident. But he warns that if you haven't seen the Avengers Endgame finale there, you will be spoiled by the Far From Home trailer. So, that's kind of that's kind of a cute marketing thing, don't ruin the ending for your friends. They pretty much kept the ending quiet for Endgame. I think a lot of people kind of took that to heart. How not to spoil it. Okay, let me just go through some of these screen grabs. All right, we start off with, of course, Peter mourning Tony. Of course, this is spoilers here, but I think if you haven't seen Avengers Endgame by now, at this point, it being 2 weeks, man, I don't know. It's been what, 3 weeks now? It's been 2 weeks since I seen it. It's probably been 3 weeks for the rest of the world. But come on, man, what are you waiting for to go see this film? I mean, even if you're a fair weather fan of the MCU, you still owe it to yourself to see that film. All right, so Happy is back, which is something I really enjoy. This seems to be the only place where they use him now. I mean, he had a couple of scenes in Endgame or what have you in Infinity War and Endgame. But I love Jon Favreau as this character, and he's a lot of fun. Like I said, I kind of would like to see him and him and Pepper get together. Somewhere obviously down the line if they're going to do a continuation of the franchise. I imagine they could still use him like they're using him here as sort of a mentor, sort of a Jarvis, if you will. That's kind of what I see him as. He's sort of the Jarvis of the Avengers now, and particularly since we don't have the Vision or Jarvis, I think it's probably it remains to be seen what they're going to do with Vision in the WandaVision series. But anyhow, we have Happy back, and he's reassuring Peter that you know Tony knew that he was leaving the world in good hands, so to speak. Uh, let's see. We see the amount of tributes that are out there for Iron Man. Again, I feel this is very important, but it's like I don't really want them to milk the Iron Man thing. I mean, the problem is I can see very clearly they're making Tony Stark officially Uncle Ben in this film. He becomes Uncle Ben. He's the one that Peter was all broken up about. And I still don't like that. As much as I love Robert Downey Jr. and as much as I love Iron Man and the character and what they've done with Tony Stark in these films from the very beginning, it doesn't ring true. It feels hollow to have someone replacing Uncle Ben as the linchpin of Peter Parker's existence. In the comics, he always went back to he's doing what he's doing for Uncle Ben. And I don't know, I just can't see, no matter how many times they retell the origin, people will understand if they do it right. And that's why I don't have a lot of love for the MCU Spider-Man. Again, Tom Holland notwithstanding. I think he's a good actor. I think the kid probably needs some better material, but I think he's a good actor. With what he's been given, there's not a whole lot he can do really, but he's a good actor. Um, I just I had very little to say about the last Spider-Man trailer because I am not a big fan of the MCU Spider-Man, but I will say this trailer did pique my interest. This is sort of like I put Spider-Man, the MCU Spider-Man, on the same par with like Captain Marvel. Like if I didn't see this, I don't think my life would be ruined. I mean, I would want to see Avengers Endgame and all these other things. If I didn't see this film, I kind of felt like I wouldn't be missing anything. Although it looks like they're really upping the action because the action was kind of lacking in Homecoming. I think they had the boat rescue scene there, which was pretty amusing, but the rest of it was just, he's swinging around a little bit or whatever. Hopefully, they get rid of the AI in the suit. I think they're smart enough to do that. He's still wearing the Iron Spider suit at the beginning here, which leads me to believe I'm not sure if this is like immediately after and he doesn't have any. I think we see him in other suits, but I think that might be a shield, invention and not something like a Stark construct. But yeah, this was a pretty good scene. It looks like an action scene where he's taking out some, I don't know, robbers or something at a hotel. And he's like, he's ripping on the cops, saying, "I'm doing your job," but like in a more friendly neighborhood Spider-Man fashion, not in the Andrew Garfield, "I just did your job" fashion. What a jerk. So then of course we get Happy is telling Peter about Nick Fury's calling, and it was pretty funny. He's answer Nick Fury because then he'll call me and I don't want to talk to him. And Peter's like, I don't want to talk to him. Nobody wants to talk to Nick Fury. I mean, the man is kind of intimidating. Of course, Nick Fury is going to have a bigger role in this than he's had in the recent couple of films. He had a cameo in Endgame. He had a big scene, a big presence in Captain Marvel. But I mean, we haven't seen anything with the Nick Fury in quite a while. I mean, that was flashback stuff. That wasn't sort of like the full dyed in the wool Nick Fury that we all know and love. So I mean, it's kind of been a while since we've seen him do this stuff, and he looks cool, man. He's as cool as a shut your mouth. But yeah, some of the rest of the trailer plays out the same, where he tasers Ned, or whatever you want to call it, tranquilizes Ned. Told you I'm tired. And that Ned, that kid, does he wear a wig? Because I always see him with his head shaved when he does these shows. He was on Kimmel a couple nights ago with the rest of the cast, and I don't know, maybe he wears a wig for these movies. But yeah, they recruit Spider-Man, and this is the most exciting takeaway from the trailer is we get to meet Mysterio, and this is a bit of a head scratcher to me. They introduce him as a hero, which I can understand because in his original appearance in uh, the Amazing Spider-Man, I can't remember the issue now. I used to remember this. Yeah, it was like in the top. It was in the first 15, maybe 20 issues when they introduced Mysterio. He was actually touting himself as a hero, and J. Jonah Jameson sort of was backing him to try to, expose Spider-Man and so forth. A lot of people are making something of the fact that everybody knows Spider-Man's identity in this trailer, but that doesn't really seem the case. I mean, I was more upset with Aunt May finding out, but because that's something that you never do, really, to be honest with you. But obviously, um, Nick Fury was going to find out, and if Nick Fury knows, then all of Shield knows, and you're supposed to kind of trust that they keep their mouths shut. Which I think after what happened with Hydra, I probably wouldn't have risked it, but it is what it is, and they're touting Mysterio as the next big superhero, so I can understand. But once again, Spider-Man has no secret identity in film. I don't know why they are so dead set against keeping his identity safe from his villains. I mean, like I said, this makes more sense maybe than, I was kind of disappointed they did with the Vulture. They kind of did the same Norman Osborn thing. And in this case, he's supposed to be a hero, but what do you really know about him? Again, the takeaway that a lot of people are saying is that the introduction is that Mysterio is from another Earth, and Peter says the multiverse, and obviously this is going to signal multiverse characters coming in where he's not supposedly from Earth, Mysterio, which I don't know how I feel about that. I don't like it, to be totally honest with you. A lot of people are suggesting online that maybe Mysterio is sort of a huckster, that he's saying he's from another world. I don't really understand either where the concept of the multiverse comes, that because Thanos snapped, he snapped not only our universe, but all over the universe, all over all the multiverses. Kind of confusing. Here he is trying to show himself to be a superhero. Talking about Tony Stark, I forgot to mention, I like to know how much mention Black Widow's going to get going forward. We know she's going to have her own film, which it's to be determined if it's set in the past or present. Probably it will be in the past, but maybe not too much, because a lot of people are saying that there was no funeral, there was no finality about her death, even though I think the Russos have come out and said that she is dead and there is no plans for her to ever come back. There is other, avenues they could use, which is bringing her in from a multiverse way, which of course she'd still be played by Scarlett Johansson. They could be. I originally said they could bring her back time travel wise. Just take her from the past and bring her in the future, the same way they did Gamora, right? Um, there are kind of a lot of things they could do. Anyway, so yeah, that's the multiverse. What everybody's getting excited about is, of course, Miles Morales. they're expecting him to come from the multiverse, which I don't know if that's really necessary, because didn't they already set up that there was Donald Glover was his uncle or something? So you don't really need to bring him from the multiverse. You could just use a 616 Miles Morales. But I think maybe the idea is they want to, because Into the Spider-Verse was so popular, maybe they don't want to start him off as Miles learning to become Spider-Man and stuff. They want to just take him in from the multiverse and bring him in. Wouldn't surprise me, because unfortunately this is the way the MCU is going. And I know you don't want to probably hear me blather on about how it's going to become SJW. But yeah, I mean, this is what they're going to do. They're going to downplay Peter Parker. They're going to put Miles in because he's the hot new thing in comics. Then we got Sam Wilson as the Falcon. Captain Marvel's the de facto feminist icon. Again, they're pushing for a diverse gay superhero that's going to be in it, which may or may not be from Eternals, like we originally were led to believe. A lot of people are saying it's going to be Valkyrie, who was um, going to have some kind of gay background in Ragnarok that was cut out for time or something. And I know Brie Larson has been pushing for a relationship between Captain Marvel and Valkyrie, but I don't see why they want to do that in the first place, seeing as how the character of Captain Marvel was never gay. They tried to make her as androgynous looking as possible in the comics in recent years, but she was never gay. And another thing is Valkyrie. See, this is a different Valkyrie from the original comics. Now, I'm not sure about the original comics. I just took it that she had a thing for Thor. I don't, wasn't a big Thor reader as a kid, so I don't know how that pans out. But they could probably do whatever they want to with this Valkyrie, because the Valkyrie that looks like the Swiss Miss mascot apparently died in the sieges of Asgard or something. Again, not to get off the beaten path, but it's just this is what we're going for in the future. Of course, if I'm going to go that far, they're even talking about how the Hulk's injury from wielding the Infinity Gauntlet is debilitating going forward. He's not going to heal, and so that means you've got a one-arm Hulk, which means you're not going to use the Hulk anymore. You're going to create another Hulk, which means we're going to get the Amadeus Cho Hulk. The only one that's safe right now is Thor, because Chris Hemsworth is really enjoying the character, and they think anyway, they found their niche in playing him for comedy, because Chris Hemsworth is great at comedy, and they've been more successful with Thor monetarily when he's been goofy. I personally don't think that's a good idea. I don't want them to make him the punchline anymore, which is what seems to have been in the past two films he's been in, but well, not counting Infinity War, but that was kind of like one long film, that in Endgame. So yeah, you can expect maybe the Jane Foster Thor will be coming in at some point. I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know where the MCU is going, but that's kind of what you can expect. All right, this is the stealth costume. That's pretty cool. Again, another cool action scene with some kind of monster muckety muck running around after him. That's what I wanted to point out in this trailer is we see these crazy looking monsters. Now, we were originally led to believe that Hydro Man was going to be in this film, and possibly Sandman, because we've seen some kind of rock and desert creature like this. These look more like the Titans from the Hercules movie. Remember the animated Hercules movie? This one looks like it's made of lava. And I'm thinking that we're probably not going to see Hydro Man and all those, in Sandman, and sort of a setup for Sinister Six. I think these are constructs of I almost said Mystique, Mysterio. I think they're constructs of Mysterio to, get him in good and make him look like a superhero while he tries to vanquish these things. But yeah, honestly, I don't know where they come from. I don't really see that these are characters that are already established in the Marvel universe. Man, I'm taking a long time, it seems like, here, but sees another shot. I don't know. Some kind of magnum creature. This seems like the toughest one for them to beat. London Bridge is going to fall down at this rate. All right, so again, then let's take a look at this aspect of the trailer. We hear how Peter is admitting now that he's got the hots for Zendaya. Zendaya. I always forget which one to say. You say Zendaya, I say Zendaya. But one way or the other, again, they're trying to make her look um, marginally more attractive. I mean, Zendaya is attractive girl, so I mean, it shouldn't be that that hard. But again, she kind of has this kind of standoffish, kind of the you know purple-haired weirdo millennial type attitude, where she's kind of smug, still kind of got a chip on her shoulder. I don't know. And of course, it looks like once again they're going to betray Peter's identity because she's kind of confronting him here, saying, "Yeah, this is about your being Spider-Man, isn't it?" And he's like, "What?" And she's like, "It's obvious." They never really give a real, you know, interesting relationship to Peter that doesn't end up with him, spilling the beans about who he is. Whatever happened to the superhero dilemma, which was, how can I tell the person I love who I am in real life? I mean, they did that in Spider-Man 2 and it was so successful, but by the end of that, they kind of ruined it too because he ended up, well, she ended up finding out because, he was maskless for like 90% of that movie, which really drives me batty to this day. But that's kind of what the burden that the superhero has to bear, and I don't know if they see that as like passe or something. They don't ever want to keep the hero's identity from the leading lady for a while. For a while at least. I mean, I understand that if you're going to propose marriage or something, that's where Superman Returns really got weird because it's like Soup was with Lois and they had a kid and she still didn't know he was Clark Kent. I mean, come on, you're going to go that far? That's kind of weird. But at this point here, I mean, they're dating. They're in high school. Don't tell her. Don't let her find out. Let this be something that was from the comics that went on for like at least a good 15 years in the comics before he ever let his secret be known to somebody. Let's see. It might have been 20 years, right? Who was the first one he told? Wasn't it Mary Jane? He told her and she already knew or something like that. Maybe that's what they're going for here, but I don't know. All right, again, another great shot of Mysterio. That costume looks boss. And that's the only reason why I'm excited about this film, honestly. I mean, Tom Holland, like I said, is good, but Jake Gyllenhaal, I want to see what he does here as Mysterio. And Mysterio is someone I've always wanted to see on the big screen. I always want. He looks like he's gonna really do good against Doctor Strange. But the thing is, with Doctor Strange, I'd love to see a cameo by Doctor Strange in this film, by the way. But Doctor Strange like knows the real stuff, and Mysterio is just like he's just doing the parlor tricks. You know what I mean? He's not doing the real deal. So, I mean, Doctor Strange would snuff him out like in a moment. And of course, we see, in case there was ever any doubt, let's see, we got all the kids back. So you have to take a look at the plot hole again of all these kids disappeared in the snapping. Not one of them was spared. It's really strange. I think it's been confirmed, I believe, by the director John Watts. I think that Aunt May was also snapped. Because you also have to understand that what would have happened to Aunt May all those 5 years that she's thinking her nephew's dead? Well, of course, he was dead, but I'm saying there was no hope for him to come back. So now they're saying Aunt May snapped right along with them. And I don't know. It just seems like the biggest plot hole. They should have never let 5 years go by. I don't care what anybody says. That was the main problem. The major problem of Endgame. Shouldn't have let 5 years go by because they wanted to have Iron Man have a daughter. She's gonna grow up someday and become Iron Man Jr. or something like that. They could have just, they could have just let it alone and let there be no plot hole. But as it stands, it looks like we've got Gwen Stacy, excuse me, Betty Brant. She's holding on to Gank, excuse me, Ned Leeds, which suggests to me that they are going to try to maybe get that relationship started in this film and have Betty Brant with Ned Leeds like in the comics. Of course, there's MJ, the Faw Mary Jane. She's not Mary Jane. And then we've got, of course, Flash Thompson in name only. Again, I don't know. I don't understand. And then we've got, I think this is supposed to be, to Flash's right, the LGBTQ character, sort of the token queer character that we got to have in this film, because you got to have a token queer character nowadays. And I don't know who the other guy is next to him, but it's probably his boyfriend. I don't know. I don't know. All right, so yeah, and then the trailer wraps up with the rousing theme song of the Amazing Spider-Man from the television show, and we get like a throwaway joke here of Happy trying to rescue the kids. Again, what can I say? I don't like 90% of what they've done with the MCU's Spider-Man. I don't like Peter looking up to Tony Stark more than he looked up to Uncle Ben. You don't rewrite the origin. You know, it's just pathetic. I don't like them race changing Mary Jane. Zendaya's a lovely girl, a lovely woman. I don't know how old she is. What is she? Is she over 21? She's a lovely woman then. But she doesn't look or act anything like Mary Jane from the comics. Flash Thompson is Flash Thompson in name only. Don't give me this crap about that's the way bullies look and act in this day and age. He's got to be a jock. I mean, even if they race changed him, let him be a jock. You know what I mean? And I hate Ned being the sidekick for Spider-Man. Spider-Man's a loner. He doesn't need a sidekick. He doesn't need people in his ear helping him out. So hopefully there's no AI. Again, it's a strangely casting of Betty Brant, who looks like Gwen Stacy, which they could have very easily had her be a background character and grow to become an important part in Peter's life. And then, of course, we could do the tragic death. I heard some rumors that they're saying that Green Goblin is expected to be sort of the main heavy going forward, at least in the Spider-Man world. Although I think they're saying it should have ramifications throughout the MCU. Whether that were true, but again, I don't trust them to do anything right with this. I don't know. And also, I think the other rumor was, well, I don't know if it's confirmed, but the Scorpion will not show up in this one. I don't think that actor is going to be in it, but he's certainly not going to become the Scorpion if he is in it. They're saying it's also doubtful that Liz Allen and Michael Keaton will be in it as the Vulture. So there you are, kids. There's my Spider-Man Far From Home trailer reaction / review. Hope I didn't disappoint you too much. But, what can I say? I'm old school, and I'm not afraid to voice the unpopular opinion. We've also got some news here about J. Jonah Jameson. There was a report out about what is the possibility of J. Jonah Jameson, not necessarily as played by the great I can't remember the actor's name now, but heaven knows that J. Jonah Jameson should be in Spider-Man movies. Again, I told you I'm tired. I can't remember. I can't remember names. Executive producer Eric Hosserman Carroll, was quoted as saying, "Yes, we've absolutely talked and thought about those characters a lot, specifically in reference to this film. What we just want to make sure we're presenting them in a way that doesn't make you feel instantly like you've seen them before." Aha! Aha! I don't care if I've seen them before. That's the problem, you dunderheads. You dodos. You simpering simpletons. I'm sounding like Carrot Top, by the way. My character, not the failed comedian. But that's the problem. I don't care if, we've seen J. Jonah Jameson once. J.K. Simmons, that's his name. I got it. J.K. Simmons. We got him, and he played the hell out of that character. The heck, excuse me. But that doesn't mean, that's like these people that say, "Oh, Heath Ledger played the Joker and nobody else can play the Joker now because Heath Ledger." That's ridiculous. No actor is bigger than the role. There'll be another actor that'll come along that'll be just as good as J.K. Simmons. And if he's not just as good, then you say, "Hey, you know, they're writing him somewhat differently, but it's fine. But no, what this means is they're gonna make him they're gonna make him a her. It's gonna be a bald black woman, and that's gonna be your next J. Jonah Jameson, and she's gonna be sassy, and don't change this stuff. I miss me with that stuff. I don't even want to consider it anymore. I'm tired of every single time they're casting a character. I got to worry about, is this going to even remotely resemble the character I know from the comics? It's like, come on. Uh, I don't know. I'm disheartened. I don't even know if I can go on with the MCU. Of course, this is not necessarily what he's talking about. If you go into the rest of this, but we're just saying we know we're not going to get the smart aleck, curmudgeon-y J. Jonah Jameson with the funny mustache and haircut and stuff. We know we're not going to get that because they're so afraid he's going to look too much like the J.K. Simmons version, and people are going to say, "Oh, we already got that. I don't want to see that again." Just like we already seen Uncle Ben die twice, we can't have that. That's crap. That's crap. You have to show the origin of Spider-Man with Uncle Ben, just as you have to have a accurate J. Jonah Jameson. Now, see, the thing is, it's not cool anymore to be portrayed as, for lack of a better term, bigoted, which is what the intention always was for J. Jonah Jameson. He kind of looks down on teenagers. He kind of, has this Archie Bunker mentality. Basically, they could have got, or they should get William Zabka to play. They should get William Zabka to play J. Jonah Jameson, since you know, they got him with that quote unquote Archie Bunker personality on. In fact, that's what they should do. I'm gonna fan cast him as J. Jonah Jameson on Twitter. You just wait and see. All right, let's get back to this story because we're going way long here. This is gonna be a long show, I guess, because I got a lot of stuff to talk about, and I even had to sideline some stuff. There's a few stories I wanted to talk about, and I says I'm not gonna get to them. So let's try to get through this article first. Let's see. So we have a couple of ideas, some of which I can't really go into detail because they're spoilery, but it's absolutely. If we had an in for the Daily Bugle that wasn't just your traditional paper with Peter Parker, there's this cool, weird thing happening where being a photographer isn't necessarily a mark of distinction anymore. We all have better cameras in our pockets than most people even owned 10 years ago. So, how do we get Peter or somebody into that world without it feeling like, do kids really aspire to go be photographers for the New York Times anymore? Or do they aspire to have their tweet reposted and so on? So we're trying to pay as much homage to the source material as possible. And we do think there are a couple of fun ideas like that in here, most of which I don't want to spell out for you, but absolutely. We want to take as much of the mythology that people love and present it in a way that's totally faithful to what people love about it, but in a different way. So again, yeah, you know, I don't mind so much updating things for the times, but it's one of those things where I don't see the harm in saying, okay, well, you know, Peter loves photography. I mean, there are a lot of people that love photography. That doesn't necessarily mean that, because it's not a job that I guess is in the people aspire to, kind of like, I don't understand what that means. More than ever, people are, taking images and putting them on Instagram and, YouTube and this and that. It's not like it's a dead media, to be a photographer. So I don't know. Anyway, let's move on before I blow another gasket. And let's take a look at this next story. We have, let me see, I gotta pull up the images here first. I don't know if I want to pull up this image. But anyway, we've got more news about the future of New Mutants and Fox's films that are now in limbo, with Disney sort of limboing them around from date to date. I'm surprised they don't try to get this one out earlier, seeing as how they're trying to get, I think, Dark Phoenix out so they can just be done with it and not have to think about the X-Men Fox franchise anymore. So Josh Boone's New Mutants is still on track for a theatrical release, but it has been held off until next year. The X-Men spinoff won't be with us until April 3rd, 2020. This is a movie that's been done for 2 years. Believe it or not. I think it's over 2 years at this point. I think it was shot for a 2017 release, wasn't it? I'm not sure. And then it was supposed to come out early last year, and then it was supposed to come out of October of last year, and then it was supposed to come out the beginning of this year. So it's been like moved around 4 times, I think. I'm not sure. These kids are going to be like, 62 years old. They're going to get their old age pension before we even see them as the New Mutants. They're going to be the old mutants before they're the New Mutants. In addition, we finally have up. Get ready to play taps. The Gambit movie, which would have starred Channing Tatum, has finally been removed from the slate and appears to be officially dead. Dead. Finally, morte. Disney also removed 3 other untitled Fox Marvel projects from the schedule. We also have bad news for Avatar fans, as the first sequel to Cameron's mega hit has now been pushed back to December 17th, 2021. This means the final installment of the new trilogy won't hit theaters until 12/17/27. Wow, why that long? That's kind of strange. 2 years later than previously planned. I guess they need 15 years in between movies. I don't know, but what do you think about this? Are you upset of what's happening here to New Mutants, or are you like me that you really don't care? I mean, if I never seen this film, I wouldn't care, to be totally honest with you. Um, but there you have it. All right, I'm gonna take a look now. I might as well leave that image up, but let's see. There's now let me see if I can get this. I've never done this before, so don't mind me if I try this. Let's see. I'm gonna try to get up on the, let's see, picture in picture thing. Let's see. How do I do this? Let's see. Did that work? Yeah, I think. Can you see that? Yeah. All right. So it worked. Hey, it's the first time I did it. All right. On Twitter, we have. Let's see. Eric Davis. Is that this guy's name? All right. This is the schedule for the 2019 films, and going all the way to, I think, 2021. So let's take a look at what they have here. Let's see. Aladdin, Dark Phoenix. This is all stuff I think everybody's kind of aware of. Maleficent, Mistress of Evil. Let's see. Frozen 2. Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker. That's 12/20. And then we got the 2020 films. Let's see. Disney's Mulan. Wow, that's not taking too long to get out, right? The New Mutants, yeah, that's going to be April 3rd. May 1st, we have an untitled Marvel movie. So they're going to release the names of these, I think, within the next year. I mean, by the end of the year, we'll know. But as of now, what's going to be coming up next? That's kind of interesting to figure out. That could be the Black Widow movie, because I believe that is already shooting. I'm not sure. Jungle Cruise, is that from the Weird Al song? Let's see. Untitled Marvel, November 6th, 2020. I would bet on that being Doctor Strange, but because Doctor Strange came out in November before. The only other one that came out in November in recent memory is Thor. Thor, The Dark World, and Ragnarok came out in November. It's possible maybe it'll be Guardians 3 if they get a jump on that. But again, that's another one that we haven't heard anything about that moving forward. So I'm not sure. Cruella de Vil movie. Is that what that is? Man. All right, let's see. Finishing up 2021. Untitled Marvel movie 12/2/21. So there's going to be a Marvel movie in December. Is that what you're telling me? What was the last one? Let's see. Yeah. So that's strange. Oh no, this is 2021. Oh, okay. So they're not going to have a wait a second. What am I looking at the right thing here? Let me see. Oh, it's 2/12/21. That's when I made my mistake. Yeah, I was gonna say that made no sense. All right, that's Black Panther. We know that 2/12/21 is Black Panther 2, right? All right, untitled Disney live action. They're obviously not giving up on that, even though that's pretty much crap. 5/7/21. 21. Let me think. What could this be? This is probably. I want to say the next Spider-Man movie, but they already have some things in the works. I think like Eternals, Guardians of the Galaxy, so it might be that. We got the date for the untitled Indiana Jones film. That's going to be July 9th, right? That's going to be cool. I can't wait to see that. I just hope they make it while Harrison Ford is still among the land of the living. The way things are going, you never know. Let's see, November 5th, another untitled Marvel. What is that? I'm not sure. That could be Eternals, I think. I think they're going to probably set, maybe that's what it is. Maybe Eternals will be 2020's November release, and this will be instead of Guardians. I'm not sure. All right, 2022 Untitled Marvel for 218. That's probably Captain Marvel 2. Untitled Marvel 5/6. You would imagine that maybe an Avengers movie at this point, because we've had a couple of movies under our belt. I would really love for it to be Ant-Man and the Wasp 2, or would that be Ant-Man 3, one way or the other. I hope they don't drop the ball on that. Untitled Marvel 7/29/22. That might be the Ant-Man and the Wasp, right? Because that's when they do that. Last time they did it in July. Let's see. Untitled Star Wars. The next time we get a Star Wars movie is 12/16/22. Man, they're serious about this. They're gonna make us wait 3 years for a Star Wars movie. Just give us a good Star Wars movie. You don't have to wait that long. They want to get the bad taste of the Rise of Skywalker out of your mouth, though, probably for, I don't know. 2024, for 12/20/24, we've got another untitled Star Wars film. So this kind of suggests to me they're going to do a trilogy, probably. Now, the rumor is right now is Rian Johnson's trilogy is dead in the water. So it could be the Game of Thrones guys. That's probably what it is. My personal hope is that it's going to be the Obi-Wan trilogy, and we'll get to see Obi-Wan's trilogy. The 2026, man, these are far away dates. I don't even want to think that far ahead. That's like 7 years in the future. But we could be seeing the end of the Obi-Wan trilogy. I hope that's what it is. All right, so in any case, let me know what you think, and let me know on in the comments, or I got the chat open still, even though it's seems to be a pretty quiet day here. All right, let's rush through some of these other stories we got here to wrap up the show before we overstay our welcome. We have Sonic the Hedgehog trailer also dropped while I was doing my thing, and it met some horrible reactions. A lot of people were mortified, children crying, parents rioting in the streets, mass hysteria, and women fainting on the road, and it was all because of this man here, this critter here, Sonic the Hedgehog, whom people are saying looks horrible. I have to admit, I don't like the way he looks either. I don't think this movie's going to be the worst thing in the world, but the nose looks very strange. The mouth looks too human, you know? And I don't know. I don't get it. I don't really get what they were trying to do with this here. But let's see. Director Jeff Fowler, he took to Twitter and he expressed his outrage and threw all the fans down and said, "You man babies are crying about Sonic the Hedgehog. Who do you think you are? Grow up and get out of your parents' basement and watch this movie because I told you to. Because we worked hard on making this Sonic the Hedgehog character. We made him look the way we wanted him to look. And this is exactly what we wanted. This is exactly what you deserve. You think you deserve Sonic the Hedgehog? Who are you? You deserve Sonic the Hedgehog to look the way you want him to look? Just because you were a fan for 30 years? Who do you think you are? Come on. No, actually, Jeff Fowler acted like an adult, and he acted like he was curious about what the consumers thought, and he actually treated them with respect, and he actually addressed them as follows by saying, "Thank you for your support and the criticism. The message is loud and clear. You aren't happy with the design, and you want changes. It's going to happen. Everyone at Paramount and Sega are fully committed to making this character the best he can be. Sonic movie, Got to fix it fast. Now, this is a textbook example of how you are supposed to react and how you're supposed to take on criticism when it's leveled at you. Because, especially in this case, it's not unjustified. It's not unjustified. This does need to be fixed up. There's only 6 months left until release. Paramount, Sega, and their partner VFX Studios will need to work Sonic fast to complete rendering his design before the film rolls out into theaters on November 8th. So let's hope they can do a good job of it. But I don't think, I think they probably have enough time. I don't think this is something that's impossible to roll out in that span of time. 6 months, if you've got a capable company, should be enough. Let's take a look at a couple other images because I didn't take too many images off to show. But of course, we also have let's see. Oh man, again, I'm blanking on the name. Cyclops, James Marsden. James Marsden again, sort of doing the hop thing with Sonic the Hedgehog here as like Hop 2. He's always got this like furry critter that he's having to deal with. But I like James Marsden. I really wish he could have got more of a shot at Cyclops. But since the Fox franchise is over, But I still say Hal Jordan. James Marsden, Hal Jordan. Okay. And last but not least, of course, we've got kooky, nutty as a granola bar, Jim Carrey returning, and he's playing Dr. Robotnik or Dr. Eggman. I hope they go with Robotnik. I think he looks great in this movie. The only problem I have is we only see him like this once. We don't get to see if he's got the egg belly. And I'm guessing that's probably something that they're not going to attempt until the end of the movie. I mean, this is clearly an origin of Robotnik, and we're going to see how he gets that big balloon belly and bald head and strangely coarse mustache. So let me know what you think in the comments below. What do you think about the Sonic the Hedgehog movie? Will redesigns save it, or you think it's just another one of those doomed to the curse of video game movies? What do you think? All right, let's take a look here at some rumor news from the rumor mill about Nova. The character Nova, the Richard Rider superhero of that name, has been rumored to be on the short list of some movies in the MCU. The Nova Corps, of course, was introduced in Guardians of the Galaxy, and to my disappointment, they pretty much ran from that like the plague until they forgot about it and just had them all decimated by Thanos. But he could be the last remaining Nova Corps member, sort of the Lone Ranger, if you will, of the Nova Corps. That would be pretty cool if that's what we do. Kevin Feige was quoted as saying that we have a big board with a bunch of characters that have more immediate potential. Nova is on that board. Because of the connection to the Guardians universe, because there are more than one example to pull from in the comics that are interesting, and you're absolutely right. He was in the earliest drafts of the Guardians of the Galaxy. So again, are they going to do a different Nova than the Richard Rider version? I hope not. I hope they don't just go flat out SJW on us. Just give us somebody from the comics that is like accurate from the comics. But yeah, I'm all for it. I mean, I don't have a big working knowledge of the cosmic MCU members, but or the cosmic Marvel universe characters. But yeah, I have vague memories of seeing him, so it would be cool if they did something with him. All right, let's see. Moving on ahead. We've got more news from the Eternals. This is interesting. Let's see. As revealed by The Wrap, the former Game of Thrones star is in negotiations to join Angelina Jolie and Kumail Nanjiani in the Marvel Studio comic adventure The Eternals, which will be directed by the writers Chloe Zhao. Though this initial report didn't name the character he'll be playing, Variety has since chimed in and confirmed that he has indeed been cast as the virtually immortal Icarus. Well, I don't know. I'm not familiar with this character. Richard Madden, I believe. He's best known for his portrayal of the doomed Robb Stark during the first 3 seasons of Game of Thrones. Well, that's why I don't know him, because I don't watch Game of Thrones. But more recently, he garnered praise for his turn in BBC's drama Bodyguard. So I don't know. He's kind of got that wistful look of an Eternal. If this is the character Icarus that he's portraying, yeah, I guess it'll work. I guess it'll work. If that is indeed the case. All right, in more Marvel news, this was kind of exciting. I was happy to hear this, that they're going to go forward with a Ghost Rider spinoff, although there's been conflicting reports on what it's going to be like. Let's see. Gabriel Luna played the Spirit of Vengeance in the 4th season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and did it very well. That's not in the report, that's me. While the initial reports seem to suggest that he wouldn't be reprising his role, Marvel has now confirmed that he will once again be firing up as the demonic anti-hero. Even though Luna is playing the same character that was introduced in ABC's flagship Marvel series, we're hearing that this is not an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. spinoff, and this incarnation of Robbie Reyes will have no connection to the previous one. It's kind of strange. I don't know. I don't get it. Why would they feel like they have to reintroduce? That's like the same thing they did with Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance. They felt like they couldn't just carry on with the storyline from Ghost Rider, so they sort of pretend that you don't have to, accept the first movie if you don't want. You can kind of just pretend this is the first one. It's kind of like what they're doing here. It's like, well, just kind of pretend that he wasn't on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Just kind of pretend that this is the first time he's Ghost Rider. It would be really cool if they could get back Nicolas Cage to be Johnny Blaze and have him as a rider, sort of playing the role Sam Elliott had in the original movie. I actually like those Ghost Rider movies. I like both of them. I mean, I said before, I'm not a fan of like having demonic stuff in the superhero realm in the comics and this and that, but he's kind of cool. I mean, he looks dope. I mean, you gotta love that design, the Ghost Rider design, flaming skull on a motorcycle rider. I mean, that's awesome. I don't care what planet you come from. But and if they're going with, again, sort of a diversity pick, going with the Gabriel Luna version instead of going with the Johnny Blaze version. I believe you've got to go with the original version first. But like I said, if they could work a way into maybe bringing Johnny Blaze into the show as sort of a mentor or something, that might be fun. I don't know. I like Luna, though. I liked what he did with the character, and I really hope that this is successful. But it's going to be on Hulu, so I can tell you right now, I'm not getting Hulu to get it. I still got like probably a free trial that I can get, and I haven't used it yet because there really isn't anything on Hulu that I'm dotty about. So this might be it. Maybe this is where I use my Hulu free month or whatever it is they give you, or is it 3 weeks? I forget. I think it's some of these things they only give you a couple of weeks. It's like, dude, come on, don't be so cheap. don't be so cheap with my free pass. All right, and I think our final bit of news we've got for the evening. And thank you for sharing the evening with me. We've got a lot of rumor mill stuff flying, a lot of gossip flying about the Suicide Squad 2 movie by James Gunn. Let's see. Suicide Squad 2, rumor has it, Geeks Worldwide is saying that Idris Elba will be replacing Joe Manganiello as Deathstroke in the DCEU. Again, this is just a rumor. I pretty much don't believe it's true because Joe Manganiello was already in Justice League at the end of it. That's canon, I'm sorry to say. I mean, I like the movie. I don't apologize for liking it, but it's canon. And if they were unwilling to recast Deadshot, which was Will Smith's character, why would you recast Joey Manganiello? I mean, Joe Manganiello, there were big plans for him. At one point, he was going to be the villain in a Batman movie. Then he was going to be the villain in sort of a Justice League 2, the Legion of Doom movie or whatever. Now you're going to put Deathstroke in Suicide Squad 2 and you're going to recast him as Idris Elba. That's not cool. Don't do that. If you're going to respect Will Smith, you respect Joe Manganiello, but I don't believe this is true. I think this is just a rumor. I don't think it's going to happen. I'll be very surprised if it does. Let's see. A lot of people are saying that Idris Elba might be playing Sportsmaster, which would be interesting. I think that would be race changing if I remember correctly. But again, he's the one. Is the father of what was that chick's name in the Young Justice, right? The girl with the bows and arrows. She was like Green Arrow's protege or something. I can't remember right now. I wasn't as crazy about Young Justice as a lot of people were, but it was a good show. I watched every episode of it. It was good, but I don't remember too much about it. But anyhow, yeah, I mean, again, that's probably race changing characters if they did that, but I don't know. I mean, maybe they could make it like she was an adopted daughter or something, and she would still look like the original. I don't know. Also, Geeks Worldwide is reporting that Academy Award winner Benicio del Toro is in talks to join the cast of the Suicide Squad as presumably the film's primary antagonist. While official details are understandably unavailable, the character in question has been given the code name the Mayor and is being described as an irascible old warrior who lives for war. Let's see. Also being rumored is Michael Rooker to portray King Shark, or more possibly the voice of King Shark. I believe this rumor has been shot down. I couldn't find anything on it other than it's a rumor, so it may or may not be the case. And also, well, I think this has been confirmed at this point, but uh, Daniela Melchior, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but Daniela Melchior has been cast as the Rat Catcher, which is, again, of course, a gender changed character from the comics. But apparently, she's got the role. Also confirmed is David Del Masterson as Polka Dot Man, which we talked about a couple of weeks ago. I think is pretty cool. Reminds me of the Spot. I think wasn't that the name of the character in the Spider-Man? He was in the cartoon as well as the comics. That was pretty cool. That character. Interesting powers. All right, so that about wraps it up for our news. Let me know what you think in the comments below about James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. And I do have one more segment here for you. We have mailbag, a mailbag segment. And I got a couple of comments during the I don't. Yeah, Hunter Iggy hasn't showed up in the chat today. I'm surprised, but yeah, I saved his comment. Hunter Iggy was asking a question in my Cobra Kai review, and I didn't think it was right to stop talking about Cobra Kai to start taking questions from the chat. So I said I was going to answer this on the Torch News Roundup. Okay, so Hunter Iggy asked, "What is your thoughts on Star Wars 9?" He says 10, but I think he means 9, to be in theater on December 16th, 2022. And should Aquaman be moved from December 16th, 2022 to November or October 2022? Well, that's not going to be Star Wars 10. That's going to, I think I understand what you're talking about. It's not Star Wars 10. It's going to be, whatever the first of this next trilogy that they're putting out is. I mean, it might be 10. They could do it that way. I don't think they will. But the main question is, should Star Wars should Aquaman be afraid of Star Wars? Um, they're both on December 16th. I take it, Iggy. Really? I guess if I was the DCEU or what is it, Warner Brothers, I probably would move them. I would probably move Aquaman in November if it was me. But it remains to be seen what Star Wars is going to bring to the table. I think they're banking on the fact that the drought is going to make people hungry again, and that people are going to want to see Star Wars now that we're going to deprive you of it for 3 years. I mean, we're going to still have the Disney Plus show, possibly shows at that point, because they'll probably put another show out. But for one thing, it's not quite the same. It's a bigger spectacle on the big screen. It might be about Jedi, which is something that we're not getting apparently yet with The Mandalorian. So, yeah, if it was me, I would probably move it to November. Yeah, November 2022 is probably a better place for Aquaman. I'm surprised they're waiting so long with Aquaman, but then again, there's a lot of visual effects that need to happen. So it is what it is. And once again, thank you, Hunter Iggy. Thank you for your patience. Sorry for not being able to answer that question. It was like 2 shows straight I couldn't answer a question because I did 2 um, review shows straight where we're talking about uh, no, it wasn't 2 review shows. We were doing my Bullets Bourbon epic, and I didn't really want to talk about it because I hadn't seen Endgame, so I couldn't talk about it anyway. All right, and the other comment we got is from my Bullets Bourbon video where I talked about the Bullets Bourbon comic that I do completely and entirely for like 31.5 minutes. And I got a comment from Marshoni who said, unswaveringly is not a word. Looks like we got a grammar Nazi in the house. Really, dude? I'll take your word for it. You must be an English teacher, and that kind of stuff bothers you, I guess. So I don't even remember saying the word, but unswaveringly is, I guess, not a word according to Marshoni. But seriously, dude, if you're going to watch a 31.5 minute video about me making my pitch for my comic book, and your only takeaway is to criticize one word that you don't believe is grammatically correct. I mean, what did you do with the other 31.5 minutes? I mean, what did that take? That took like 10 seconds out of that whole video that you paid attention to? Seriously, dude. I mean, miss me with that stuff. Go back and watch the video and tell me something, about the actual content of the video. Tell me something about the characters, the storyline that you're interested in, or something that you dislike. But this stuff is like ridiculous. What the heck are you bothering? What are you wasting your time and mine answering this stupid comment? Unswaveringly is not a word. Well, unwaveringly, maybe. Is that what I was supposed to have said? Swaveringly is not a word, so unswaveringly is not a word too, I guess. I don't know. But thanks anyway, Hunter Iggy, and I guess Marshoni, for the comments. Thank you once again, anybody that has tuned in, whether be it live or be it on Memorex. No, uh, as a rebroadcast, as it were. Uh, we're gonna be doing another video. Let's see, another video. Almost sound like Jeremy, but we're probably gonna do another one next Saturday. I don't know if there's anything else I got to review that I might get a midweek one. And again, I'm working so hard on the books and stuff. I can't really focus on too many things unless there's big news about something that, of course, I want to tackle, before it gets to be old news like most of these stories were. But thank you once again for joining me on the only way to spend your Saturday here with us on Johnny Torch Live and doing our Torch News Roundup. God love you for being here. Make sure you hit like, share, and subscribe. And of course, leave some comments in the comment section below. Check out the Adventures of Bullets Bourbon Private Eye and my Twitter page in the links in the description below. And until next we meet, this is Johnny Torch reminding you once again, keep the flame burning brightly, and I'll be with you again real soon.